big around. They're just little tin ones. There'll be on buildings and mailboxes and different things around. Yeah, I made them.
Did you?
I got a machine.
Yeah, you should make some more.
I've got them.
Do you?
All I have to do is just take the black paint and lay the machine over the top.
Yeah.
And I've got them. I gave them away to everyone when we had the last people would put them up and they said, where the hell are all my signs?
Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
How's everybody coming in a little closer? So we all took showers this morning, so I think we'll be all right.
Wind's blowing that way, it's okay.
Wind's blowing that way here, so it really won't matter. I'm Bill Jones, president of the Route 66 Society. I was born and raised here on Route 66, and I just want to thank everybody for coming out, everybody that's donated to this project. It's all for a good cause for the city, and it's already bringing in a lot of car clubs, a lot of overseas people stopping and taking pictures. We just think it's a really good cause. If y'all would take off your hats, and we'll say this lady right here, Ellen Martin. Thank you, Ellen.
Oh, I too find this exciting to be here because my father, who was born in 1918 near this community, shared stories of how large these apple orchards were in the 1920s. Pray with me, please. Holy and gracious God, we thank you for this community. We thank you for the efforts of all those who have put so much time and work into this so that the history of Lebanon will continue to those who move here, who come through, and who were born past the time of some of the exciting stories that are involved with this mural project. We ask your blessing on all of them and on this community that we may continue in whatever line of work we are in to serve this community, to be the example, to care and for others and to welcome people in this community, because we know hospitality is very, very important. And it is through all of the work that the mural project folks have done, the Route 66 people have done, that will help to encourage that and continue the legacy of this community. And so again, we thank you for your presence, for your care, and for your compassion. And we thank you in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen. Now, if y'all would, remove your hats and we'll say pledge allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay. The mayor? Okay, where's Liberty and Justice? Here he is. There's our new mayor, guys. And y'all have any complaints, now's the time to bring him up. Thanks, Bill.
And now my ears are closed. I want to welcome everybody, and I have the honor of standing up here and welcoming you all to this dedication of the third and final mural in this ongoing project. It's been going on for about 3 years now, yeah. So I'm glad to see it come to completion, and this one is really I think it's my favorite just because it shows the historical the history here of this particular location right here on Route 66. And I am honored to be able to be a part of this community and be able to serve in this manner and be able to be a part of this dedication. And I think this is going to provide a place for many citizens of Lebanon and Laclede County and across the entire United States and even the world to come visit and share a little bit of our community with the world. So thank you all for being here, and with that I think I'll turn it back over to you, Bill. Just go on the other Bill. Mr. Bill Wheeler, who has had an instrumental role in the Route 66 Society for many years and is a former council member as well as from Lebanon and a long-time resident here. So Mr. Bill Wheeler.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Words don't express the pleasure that I have addressing you today. There are several people that we need to pay tribute to today, and I'd like to kind of go through them. I'm not going to name a lot of names because when you start naming names, you leave out somebody, and that's not my intentions. Number one, I think we have the city and the county to thank for what you're seeing today. Without the support of the Laclede County government and the government of the city of Lebanon, you would not be standing at a Route 66 park today. They deserve a lot of the credit. The other credit I give is to a man by the name of Frank Nelson. Without Frank Nelson and his vision many, many years ago of what Route 66 would mean to our community, we would not have a Route 66. We would not have an I-44. So my only disappointment is, Bruce, that your grandfather cannot be here with us today and share this celebration of Route 66. If he were here, I think he would be extremely pleased with what he sees today. The other group that I would like to pay tribute to is the Laclede County Library, where we have a fantastic, a world-renowned museum of Route 66. It, in combination with the park, I think will continue to bring people to Lebanon. And I guess I'm going to go out on a limb and say that the tourism dollar is a good dollar to bring to Lebanon. They just use our bathrooms and leave. So that's only worry we have, is if we have enough restrooms. The history of Route 66 goes back, in my occasion, to when I retired. I was sitting at home just having a wonderful time. In fact, I was in my easy chair, all laid back, watching TV, and having a wonderful time in retirement. And Mayor Bud Allen calls me. He says, Bill, we have a brand new civic center. We don't have a clue what to do with it. Could you come and help us out? I said, well, Bud, I'm not looking for a job. He said, just give us 20 hours a week. Well, 20 hours turned into 60 hours if you've ever had a part-time job. And I got to thinking. I sat around and I thought, what can we do in Lebanon to bring people or to get them to come off of I-44 and spend some time here in Lebanon? We don't have a Disney World between here and Stoutland. We don't have a Worlds of Fun or Six Flags between here and Conway. We have Bennett Spring, which is 12 miles away, and we get a lot of traffic out of Bennett, but there's nothing right here in Lebanon to bring people to Lebanon. What do we have? It dawned on me. We have Route 66, and that's where it all started. Yes, I did form the Route 66 Committee, the Route 66 Society, which has been functioning and doing great things in all of these years. This is Route 66 right out here. It is actually larger than I-44. We have 5 lanes out here. I-44 only has 4. So Route 66 is outstanding in our community. Going back to the library is the cultural and educational center of our community. That goes without argument. We are doing some neat stuff at the library. We're going back many, many years before there was a Route 66, and we're doing a lot of research on the Trail of Tears. Did you know that the Trail of Tears went through our community? In 1838, 39, the winter, they spent the winter going through our community. A lot of people have interest in that. A a lot of people, if I had a show of hands, probably half of you would claim relatives that were on the Trail of Tears and have Cherokee heritage. We're going to have a Indian Interpretive Center at the library. That will only complement the Route 66 Museum. Mark Spangler and I are also doing some research on the Wire Road. Did you know the Wire Road runs right across the edge of our park over here and runs down in front of the Lutheran Church? If you go over there and look down between those row of trees, you'll see a depression in the road, a depression in the ground. That is the Wire Road, which carried the troops to battlefield for the famous battle that they had. They marched right down beside our Route 66 park. I only say that to tell you there's a lot of history, and people are interested in history. They come to where they can see historical events and historical facts and historical things. And you're standing in one of the premier places for that, in a Route 66 park. I'll leave you with this thought. This is not the end. This is only the beginning.
Yep.
Thank you, Bill. I know you was an inspiration. I know you started this years ago, 12, 13, whatever, and we're grateful to you for starting it. Right now, we'll have Elliot from the Parks Board.
I just want to thank all the donors for all their contributions to the mural project, and this could never have been done without all the money and everything that was donated to the parks. We rely on a lot of donations and sponsorships for several of our special events and projects, and the Lebanon community always comes through to help fund these projects for us. I want to thank Bill Wheeler. He first brought this to a park board a few years ago about wanting a Route 66 theme park in Lebanon, and he was really the first one that got the first phases started and got the ball rolling for this project. I'd like to thank Bruce Owen and his family for their continued support of the Parks Department. Through their families, donations, and everything, we were able to turn Boswell Park into one of the premier parks in the area. We've added 2 shelters, a new restroom, a fountain, a walking trail, the murals, and a Route 66 themed playground, all because of their generous donations. And lastly, I'd like to thank the Route 66 committee for all their hard work. They provided us with a vision for the park and helped us follow through on their vision. They took over the fundraising efforts of the mural project and were able to see it through to the end and give us such a beautiful finished project that we'll get to see today. Thank you.
Now, the fellow that put this all through and built these for us, Mr. Paul Whitehill. Paul?
Thank you, Bill. It's an honor to be back here today to share in this event, and I was extremely thrilled to see Bill Wheeler here. It was a little over 3 years ago. Came out here to Lebanon to meet with Bill, where he talked about this idea of the Route 66 Mural Park. I just want to say that I'm happy you're here today to see this concept become a reality for you. Route 66 is near and dear to my heart. I first started doing these murals down in Joplin, Missouri, and it's my goal to create 66 murals on Route 66 between Chicago and LA. And unveiling this one will be number 6 on that list. So it's a good day for us. I would like to thank several people. The City of Lebanon, John Shelton and his staff at the Parks Department. They're instrumental in helping me get the electricity and power and the support I needed to be out here to install these. The Route 66 Society here, and who was instrumental in getting a lot of the fundraising going. And I'd like to thank all the donors that helped make this possible. Without you, this could never have happened. The first two murals were designed by my staff, and I'm happy to say that this third mural, which we're about to unveil, was designed by a local artist here in Lebanon, Angela Shadle. And I'm so happy to see, yes. I'm so happy that you're here for the unveiling. She did a wonderful job. I think she really captured the spirit of the Nelson family legacy. So, without further ado, I will pass this along. And this has been a great honor to be part of the preservation and restoration of Route 66 here in Lebanon. Thank you. Oh, excuse me. I have a couple tiles that I would like to present, a few extras from the postcards that we do on each side of these murals. And the first one, oh yeah, this first one here is for Bruce Owen. It's the postcard of the Nelson Service Station, and I thought, as a descendant of the Nelson family, he should have this tile. I also understand there's a young lady here who's having a birthday this weekend. And I would like to present this tile to Ramona from the Munder Moss Motel. Thank you.
Okay, this time we'll let Bruce Owen talk to us about his family and some of his thoughts. Bruce, get up here. You ain't getting out there.
Good afternoon, and thank you everybody for being here. It's finally here. We didn't think it would get here. My great-grandparents, Arthur T. and Lizzie Nelson, and my grandparents, Frank R. and Dorothy Nelson, they played an important role in the development of Route 66 through Lebanon. I'm honored to represent my family today and to dedicate this mural that honors their legacy. I've got a short article here I want to read. It was in the 1926 newspaper. I wanted to read a little longer one, and Bill said no, stick with the short one. So anyway, just bear with me. Of the thousands and thousands of travelers who have pursued the concrete between Chicago, Illinois, through Missouri, Oklahoma, Texas, New Mexico, Arizona, California, to Los Angeles, probably more of them hold in memory Nelsonville. Colonel Arthur T. Nelson's cottages, artistic filling station, the top of the Ozarks Inn, the flowers and trees, beautiful surroundings, than remember any other place of the Great Highway, the main street of America. Associated with Colonel Nelson in this extensive enterprise is his son, F.R. Nelson, a business manager of outstanding capability. The very attractiveness of the spot, with its quantities of flowers, privet hedge, ornamental planting of the grounds, the courtesies extended, and accommodations to be had, fixes a place so firmly in mind that no visitor ever forgets it. Tourists on return trips have been known to extend their day's journey 100 miles in order to make the Nelson campground for the night. The Nelson property is on a 40-acre tract laying on both sides of Highway 66. The highway, first 40 feet, then 60 feet, now 80 feet wide, cuts directly through the Nelson tract. In 1926, after giving the state the right-of-way for this land, Colonel Nelson began the establishing of what has grown into a village in itself, with filling station, the inn, cottages for tourists. Each cottage was designated by the name of the state. It was equipped with beds and facilities for cooking, toilet accommodations, restrooms, everything for the comfort and convenience of travelers. The grounds are this year to be further beautified under the direction of Mr. H. Brewster, landscape artist for the State Highway Department. As an experiment, Colonel Nelson this year has planted on ground bordering the highway paper shell pecans, Japanese persimmons, orange quinces, celestial figs, and Texas umbrella trees. He anticipates literally sitting under his own vine and fig tree. Colonel Nelson owns over 100 acres of land within the city limits, with 160 acres adjoining the city. approximately 100 acres of which are an orchard along the highway, is in his Stark's Delicious Apple Orchard. He has 7 acres in Young Orchard. On the place are peaches, pears, plums, grapes, 10 varieties of apples, so the fruit will be ripening throughout the season. The 2 handsome Nelson homes add to the attractiveness of the surroundings. Colonel Nelson's new residence of American colonial model, built of native stone, is one of the handsomest houses in the state, and the F.R. Nelson residence adjoining of Dutch colonial style is charming and ever particular. Colonel Arthur T. Nelson is well known throughout Missouri and throughout the United States as any Missouri citizen. He has been a member of the State Board of Agriculture for 29 years, serving under 8 Missouri governors. He has served as president and vice president of the board. He was a member of the first State Fair Board and has served on the board 29 years. He was State Marketing Commissioner 5 years and is a life member of the State Horticultural Society, serving for 5 years in an official capacity. He was Grand Commander of the Missouri Knights Templar in 1921 and 22, and numbers on his list of friends more members of the Knights Templar than almost any other member in the state. His acquaintance is so extensive that scarcely a day passes that some traveler from some port of the United States, whether it be east, west, north, or south, does not give him the high sign and greeting, recalling some former time and place where Colonel Nelson forgathered, smoking the pipe of peace, drove the burning sands, or viewed the landscape somewhere in Missouri, or in America. We're standing here today on the site of my great-grandfather's orchard. 2 of his most famous projects were completed after this article appeared. The Nelson Tavern, also called the Nelson Hotel, was opened in 1931. Nelson Dream Village, which is depicted in the mural that we're getting ready to unveil, was in 1935. The fountain that you see over here to the left is a reincarnation of the fountain that was in front of the Dream Village. Oops. Now it's time for the unveiling. With help for this, Nelson, my brother, his daughter Nancy, we need help, please. Angela, could you help us, please? Son Zachary, I'd love for Julie to help, but where's Reed, my grandson? If we could help, I would appreciate it.
Don't pull down on it. But everyone just kind of grab a little trunk, look at it, and pull it down. Okay. You guys ready? All right. Everybody, we're going to do a countdown from 3, 2, 1, follow!